that set getting banned out immediately, and for Koala, not going to have that Bard.
Yeah, of course, shutting out the Bard here does allow your Stan to take away the Thresh or the Leona or any of these other engage-centric supports, because none of those really have a good time into the Bard. I am looking at Machi just trim out some of the more aggressive jungle champs from World 6's pool, because, again, live and die by the jungle mid-duo are this alpha lineup, and if you can neutralize just a little bit of that early aggression, it does mean your transition to a more smooth late-game teamfight phase can just be much, much easier.
Yeah, and we do see over on the side of Machi, going to go ahead, ban out World 6 as far as picks go, getting rid of that Nidalee, and for Alpha, getting rid of the Grave. So actually even attacking his own jungle pool because they want to try and shut down Gemini as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely do have to consider, again, mid-jungle kind of trim out there, but then here's the weird thing to me. You're banning out Ezreal as Machi when it's been Bruce's signature pick because he wasn't picking up Varus when everyone else was picking up Varus. He was still living in the Misfortune meta of Spring, and honestly, I'm not entirely comfortable with the fact we're seeing what has inarguably been his best champion just taken out of the picture entirely.
And now here for Machi, going to go ahead and actually take something away from Wei Lun as well. That Aphelios that's always been kind of that go-to pickup for Alpha, not going to be available.
Yeah, definitely do have to consider the fact that we're looking at this Aphelios as, you know, having the advantage in the 1v1 against pretty much every AD carry in the meta right now, bar Ezreal. You have to kind of poke him down from a distance. You get in range of him, he'll mow you down with a flamethrower to the face, and yeah, honestly now have to be really conscious of what Alpha are going to take. You saw that teams like Resurgence can run the Ziggs into it and kind of play from 2 screens away, but Alpha going to opt for something a little bit more short range.
Yeah, not going to be going into, say, the Ashe that a lot of people have been taking into the Aphelios, instead opting in for that Kalista and trying to get Wei Lun to be that massive team fight carry a little bit later on. For Machi, though, Mission wants to make an impact here alongside Gemini, and a Twisted Fate's going to help him do just that.
Yeah, definitely do have to look at this TF as being that constant exertion of global pressure will kind of make some of these earlier commitments from the Alpha jungler in particular a little bit more spooky, because of course you can't dive top, you can't dive bot with the threat of a Destiny to the face to just turn the tides in a numbers advantage.
And for that too, you're going to be bringing in a bit of dive for Gemini as the Volibear is going to get locked in.
It's a bit of a flex pick towards PK, but definitely do have the flexibility here of running that in either top or jungle. Pretty interesting is the fact that Machi haven't opted to lock a support in this first rotation, so could see Blitz banned out, could see Nort banned out, and could see some of these more conventional counters to the Thresh just taken off the board entirely.
All right, but here for Bush, he's going to get something that's been comfortable in for the rest, for the majority so far of summer. It is going to get that Wukong getting locked in.
Yeah, the Wukong has been PK's go-to champ so far this split. Really fantastic on that champ. And it does have a very good matchup into the Volibear top, which I think is why Machi now will probably run this volley in the jungle. And that's also why Alpha are now targeting out some of the more conventional answers to Wukong in the top lane.
All right, do see here though now. Let's go and take a look toward our bans. It's going to be the Mordekaiser getting banned out by Alpha Esports, and then Galio being taken away here by Machi, trying to get something that is not going to be able to respond to Mission going for a teleport play.
Yeah, exactly that. You want to neutralize the global pressure that Alpha can answer with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
it was just global. Okay. Cool. I don't know.
I was like, I can go into depth more on that, but that's essentially the gist of the Galio ban. Because you know, if the Galio gets some priority going for himself, he can coordinate some invades with World 6. He can pressure bot lane. You have a big combo with Thresh engage, Wukong, Galio, Wukong, of course, constant backline access. It's beautiful. Honestly, I'll be real with you, Opal. I was listening back to my voice. to check that I am coming through crystal clear and beautiful.
It sounded great until you stopped talking, and now it's kind of gone back into a little bit of a downgrade. So hopefully,
I blame Google Chrome, but hey, okay. We'll see.
I don't know, might be your connection, but nonetheless, let's continue on here. Nautilus going to get locked in for Koala, going to allow him to go for some big roams around the map for those plays alongside Mission and Gemini.
Yeah, definitely do have to look for the big playmaking ultimates coming out of Alpha here. They have a lot of teamfight threat where if Machi do get the game to go to one of their comfort phases, you can just go for a big engage, you can go for the big 5v5, and you can live and die by how successful these ultimate connections are.
We do see, though, that's going to be PK getting a Camille up in the top lane. Usually been seeing him on some carry here and there, but this time, going to be taking a page out of what we've seen out of Liab as of late, and getting that Camille kind of coming back into the meta here in the PCS.
Yeah, a little bit of a rough early lane phase for the Camille, but after that does outscale pretty dramatically. From 2 items onwards can just ruin Bush's life on this Wukong. And that's why you'll probably just see Alpha opt into taking 5v5s repeatedly, while Machi go for this 1-3-1 kind of split push, rotating the TF and the Camille to the side lanes.
We'll see here too. We also, of course, have ourselves the Orion. We didn't get to touch on too much over toward the mid lane there with Chen9. Chen9, again, has a pretty deep champion pool. He's played almost, I think he has played the most unique champions when it comes to mid. So we'll see whether or not they are going to be able to do just that. And maybe they themselves can reset and try and make their climb back into playoffs over on the side of Alpha as we go ahead and get ourselves loaded in for our game intro. Get ourselves set, locked, and loaded. Alpha need to reclaim some of that glory if they want to secure a better spot as far as playoffs go. Meanwhile, inside of Machi, still looking to try and fight for a bye. Take that away from Taipei J Team and HQ as we go ahead and load on into the Rift for our 4th game of the night.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
And back we go. As I do apologize. It seems I will be solo casting for the first little bit here as we have our we have some tech issues over on Brizz's end. You probably noticed he sounded a little bit weird himself. Well, nonetheless, it appears he had to get some updates. And we'll hopefully get ourselves back in with a Brizz here. Of course, reminding you guys, Machi currently at the top of the table. They're currently sitting 3rd overall in the standings. There is still the opportunity for them to secure a playoff bye if they are able to actually tie up with AHQ and Taipei J Team. And then there is the possibility we can see a tiebreaker. So there is a rather important matchup coming in for Taipei J Team later on for them to at least secure that gap. Alpha, though, on the other hand, they have looked like a rather dominant team when World 6 is able to get online. But when he is on something like the Trundle, it's going to be a little bit more passive. I do say that with a little bit of an asterisk here and there because we've yet to see how exactly he plays out. But it's something he has fallen back to a couple times back when he played over in the LPL with OMG. And for that, too, Gemini is going to be starting on toward his bot side. So we're going to see our junglers trade the sides of the map. And maybe we'll get to see some action near top with PK. You do have that kind of early CC with the hookshot combo, as well as Gemini could follow that up. We'll have to see where they want to strike here on the map and try and maybe lock down Bush before he's able to come online with this Wukong. But already hitting level 2 and getting a nice trade in there onto PK.
Indication of the win conditions there, Opal. And yeah, honestly, we're looking at this early game as having a little bit of volatility in favor of Alpha as always. I'm still not huge on Alpha junglers opting for this Trundle just because it's not a gank-heavy champ. You basically just sit around counter-ganking and dissuading the enemy jungler. I like proactivity from Alpha, and I'm not seeing it yet, but at the same time, they have the mid to late game teamfight insurance of a Wukong Orianna Wombo combo.
I like how you assumed I was just like, ah, yes, win conditions. That's exactly. I was talking jungle pathing, I'll have you know, Mr. Abriz, but let's see. Already, World 6, looking for a little bit of invade, and maybe for an early play on Mission as he's pushed out a little far.
Yeah, Mission on the TF, though, does have access to a couple of speed boosts in the Nimbus Cloak, plus the Time Warp Tonic because of the trees he's opted for, so yeah, not in too much trouble. Again, as we said, Trundle, not necessarily a gank jungler, just more of a deterrent, and that did mean that Gemini on the Volibear had to clear out the Raptors and couldn't actually show his face in mid.
So there you are, able to play toward the side that the Volibear is. And speaking of that side, you now have, what, a 2-level advantage from PK. Only one now, maybe looking for a dive onto Bush, but maybe the same down to this bot lane if Bruce and Koala are not careful.
To be fair, there used to be like this recurring trend in, oh, nope, I'll talk about it in a bit.
Tencent's going to come out on Koala. Bruce is going to get played on back, and a decent amount of damage. Oh. There it is, first blood. Going on over to your San with the Ignite Needle top lane. It is going to be traded on back. Bush tries to bring it back. Unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough damage from the tower as the kill goes on over to PK.
Yeah, gonna assume that Bush had no access to the decoy there. The W was probably on CD or not skilled at all. And by the time Mission is communicated as coming up top, it's too little, too late.
So either side going to be at least happy getting a kill. But maybe if you're on the side of Alpha, you wanted to try and give that kill on over to the AD carry, not necessarily that Thresh, but you take what you can here, and a bit of a chaotic start, what we expected from Alpha, for sure.
Yeah, definitely do have to look at Alpha as, you know, being that early game kind of one-trick team where live and die by this early game. So far, really beautiful start to it. Aggressive Trundle gank, aggressive Nautilus follow. You need this Kalista to do very well in lane early because she's an early game champ relative to Aphelios scaling into late. And Machi now, yeah, good proactivity to trade back, but is it enough to stop this storm in the bottom half of the map?
Yeah, that storm is going to be brewing when it comes to this Aphelios. As PK not letting up the pressure here. A nice combo comes out and is able to chunk down Bush. So this Camille already starting to become a threat.
Yeah, with the Sheen already in inventory here, building towards that Triforce, PK does have a lot of all-in potential, a lot of damage, and a lot going for him. I'm looking at the Alpha bottom half of the map right now, and again, we just need to see a lot of proactivity here. Use the aggressive Sweeper Trinket to get Thresh and Prio, move up in the lane, but then be super conscious of the fact that in just one level's time, we'll start to see Mission with access to the Destiny, and suddenly that aggressive bot lane from Alpha will have to start playing a little bit more respectfully.
And for Alpha, though, I think it is fair to expect them to try and fall back, because it's actually rare that we see your San and Wei Lun being this aggressive early on.
Yeah, it definitely is the case, and I think part of that is just because Bush is left in isolation now. Also, the Orianna for Chen 9 means that there's not really too much value to be found from playing exclusively for mid lane, and speaking of Bush being on weak side and alone, well...
That's 3 members up here, as they've already said it. But meanwhile, bot lane, they say, okay, you dive our top lane, we will take your bot, as in goes PK on the Camille. In comes the Hextech Ultimatum. It's a double kill, though, going on over to the bot lane. And PK, he actually isn't able to finish it off. Brush almost able to take it back. The execution is enough for Mission at the very least, but not a pretty dive coming out from Machi.
Yeah, Bush playing that about as well as he could have there. Unfortunately, the Destiny will reveal the Wukong in that stealth. The true sight comes through. Yes, the Wukong did some fancy footwork, but it wasn't enough to get a kill back. However, his bot lane gets 2 back for him, and a huge swing in favor of Alpha here with this aggressive power play on the bottom half of the map.
And I gotta say, for Alpha, I think you're pretty happy for a 2-for-1 overall across all things considered, especially if you're getting that now onto a Kalista.
If there is one member you're okay with sacrificing this game, it will be the Wukong, just because he's a glorified entryway into the fight for the Orianna Ball. Still going to fulfill his job later on. Just the main concern for me now is that with Bush behind, that later stage of the game where he couldn't contest Camille in the side lane becomes more and more of a possibility earlier on.
So we get to see now Waylon in an opportune moment where he himself could be acting as a bit more of that carry, one of those win conditions for Alpha, and this is kind of the first time we've been able to actually see that outside of him being, you know, falling back to an Aphelios late game.
Yeah, definitely do have that win condition, but at the same time, it's short range, and if you're in range to auto-attack as Aphelios, you're in range to get wombo comboed by Wukong, Orianna, Kalista.
Yeah, there's still that possibility here where you have a lot of different threats on the side of Alpha. Machi, though, they themselves, they're the ones on the side that have this Aphelios that Bruce is like, all right, I'll try and do my best to scale up. And there's still, of course, this Camille that PK has already shown himself to be rather dangerous and will get even more dangerous once he has items.
Yeah, not sure if I'm the world's biggest fan of Chen 9 on this Orianna, because of course, this team usually lives and dies by mid-jungle volatility, and Orianna just chills back, doesn't really do anything, scales up. It also means that Mission is getting a free scaling on his APTF, which usually does take a while to ramp up on the Rod of Ages, and if Mission is proficient on anything, it's scaling mids, like the TF, like the Kassadin, like all of these that just like to chill, and yet he's been all over the map so far in this early game.
Continues just to try and get some pressure down onto Bush. Bush playing as passive as he can, but starting to lose out here in the matchup in particular. Now down, of course, those two deaths, and now starting to bleed CS now down 22.
Yeah, a little bit rough for the side of Alpha here when it comes to having Bush actively able to match this Camille. Also consider Volibear probably better in the skirmishes than the Trundle already at this point. My main reservation, of course, being if Alpha can close in these mid-game teamfights. You need the Wukong in with the Orianna, you need the Kalista to dish out the damage, because if you let this game go on, 1-3-1 from the TF and the Camille will just give Alpha's solo laners a really disgusting run for their money.
Yeah, especially too when we talk about Alpha, they're not a team that usually is able to fare well with really good team coordination, and that's something that Machi excels at later on in the game.
Yeah, speaking of farewell, say goodbye to this Herald if World 6 is able to continue with the pressure accommodated for by the Kalista, just rotating top, the Orianna actually getting some fair shove mid, and oh man, Bush getting dove again, by the way. Look at where the Volibear is, look that Mission was posturing to go bot.
Well, Bush, he will be the sacrifice once again. The Monkey King is able to survive, actually, as Gemini and PK are unable to actually secure that mission.
Is he, though?
He's got the Destiny. He's got that gold card. They're still looking to hunt him down. There's your Hextech ultimatum, and PK is able to find his second kill.
Good rotation from Alpha here, though. They have the Herald, they have 4 people mid, and they should be able to crack open this tier 1. Yes, they lose Bush yet again, but they could trade back massively in exchange.
So there you are. First tower likely to go over to Alpha, unless Koala has anything to say about it. Jumps into 4 members and instantly gets taken on down. Sure, you have the Moonlight Vigil, but Bruce can't do really anything just yet with only a pickaxe. Luckily for Machi, they are able to prevent the tower from going on down. Mission, though, gets caught out in from the Fate's Call with the knock-up, has a blue card salute, and with that, he will get taken down. Chen 9 picks up his first kill.
Good aggressive response from Alpha and good aggressive follow-up from Alpha to really hammer home that macro win. They make the hard commit for the Herald, they make the hard commit for the mid-tier 1, and they make a couple of kills happen. And because of that, they can snowball into a Drake. Machi just on full let's shut down Bush duty, and yet Bush is the member of this team comp that matters the least. As we said, glorified Orianna ball delivery at this rate.
So nice job there. You did see, at least in the end, Machi were able to trade back a kill down to this bot lane, so not end of the world, but it seems like all this focus now going on over to Bush has kind of blinded, or at least tunnel vision Machi, where Alpha can't play this aggressive style game, and Machi are playing into it.
They got 1 kill and 1 play onto the Camille that needs to snowball, that is their win condition, by being unmatchable in the side lane come the mid game, in exchange for losing the Herald, losing the mid-tier 1, losing 2 kills, and losing the Infernal Drake to boot. This is just greedy from Mission.
Yeah, Mission, we have seen him make small mistakes like this before, and with that now, Alpha have actually been able to find themselves a gold advantage, mainly because everybody else on the map has been able to get ahead. The only one suffering at the moment is Bush, and like you mentioned, it depends whether or not this Camille is going to be able to carry back this game with the split push and pressure to come out from Machi later.
Yeah, definitely do have to look at PK as being that X factor, being that win condition. And yeah, we said 1-3-1, Camille TF floating to the sides, but here's the TF floating again.
And unfortunately, Mission, Shockwave is going to catch him out. Pillar goes on down, and he gets caught once again. The stable pillar of Machi starting to crumble here as Alpha find their third kill on him.
Yeah, the stable pillar getting found by an icy pillar, taking the Trundle gank to the face. The Thresh hook is heat-seeking, and even the tag on the very edge of the Shockwave just really hammering home. Alpha, they're not just about the team fights. They have some degree of pick in this comp, and I think the Thresh actually walked out of the bush, but the mountain terrain from the Rift actually shut down the line of vision for Mission.
And there you are. That's going to be the second tower here taken by Alpha. They're going to be feeling pretty happy themselves overall. As so far, Chaos seems to be playing in their favor. Bruce has been slowed down quite a bit on this Aphelios. Still going to be, again, probably a couple minutes before that Infinity Edge comes online. And Alpha are now looking to set up toward their third Dragon of the game in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, the difference being that Alpha are funneling all of this kill gold into a Callista, who will carry your early to mid, while Machi are funneling it onto a Camille, who is your late game insurance policy.
Oh, geez. Okay, bot lane, it's not safe no matter who you are, but in comes the teleport from Bush, as that's going to be the missed Shockwave. Bush, though, able to land his Cyclone and going to get that damage as, oh no, Mission gets betrayed by Gemini. Over the wall goes the Volley Bear, but the TF does not follow.
To be fair, I think it was basically Gemini waiting as long as possible for Mission to close that distance, and by the time Mission was there, it was a little bit too little too late, and it meant that the Machi jungler had to sacrifice his mid laner. Rather you than me, says Gemini as he books it out of there, and Alpha answer a proactive play, direct response to the TF ultimate. Really promising for them here as Machi just fumble left and right.
They saw their Mission now, getting caught out, able to dodge away from the Shockwave, but an easier ultimate to land is, of course, going to be Bush's Cyclone.
I do kind of stress the Machi are the more low-key of our top teams. Everyone else is kind of explosive. Machi a little bit more quiet in the way they do execute a lot of their game plans. And I think that this is, again, just kind of the reason why they are the forgotten member of the big three, because while everyone else has kind of adapted to exploding these early games, Machi still look a little bit lost in the first 15 to 20 minutes.
And they rely, again, like we mentioned, trying to fall back on superior team play later on into the game, but that can only make up so much if you find yourself falling behind. Luckily for them, I say Alpha, I don't think have done a good enough job trying to snowball this lead out of control. It's only about 2,000 gold ahead for them with all this chaos, but they are at least setting up for these objectives.
And going into this game, we said the name of the game for Machi would be shutting down Alpha's early attempts at aggression. And yet so far, it's been Alpha shutting down Machi. And honestly, they are living for it right now. Alpha doing fantastically well, now bolstering up their ranks, killing all the tier 1s across the board, and just really waiting for their ults to come back up before this next Drake spawns.
Yeah, meanwhile, top lane is going to get taken here by Chen 9, and it's going to funnel some more gold. A little bit late, possibly, for this reset, as, again, Machi at least trying to force the issue down toward bot lane, taking down the second-tier tower, but have to be careful as Alpha's looking for a collapse.
Yeah, Alpha now just really looking to hammer it home that they are in the lead here. Machi, though, good rotation for this Drake. They have the onus on it. Issue is, you have a very melee-centric topside that could very easily get tagged up by a quick Cyclone Shockwave combo.
You see here Mission pulling out the gold card, wanted to try and make a play, but now Alpha get inside track in onto the Dragon. Let's see, Miracle Steel coming out from Mission. Wildcards get thrown. Not, woohoo!
Whoa!
Was close. Your son able to secure it. Now Alpha at Soul Point when the respawn takes place at 22 minutes.
Yeah, looking at Alpha now to just continue to apply the pressure. 5 minutes, and then they can look for not necessarily a game-ending Soul, because it is Mountain, but still one step closer to the Elder, which will augment this superior team fight even further. Machi, though, they're looking to hold on, scale up on Camille, scale up on TF. Yes, Aphelios is that teamfight win condition, but you don't want to take 5v5s against Wukong, Orianna, Kalista. You want to play for sides and really abuse the fact that 1v1, your champs still have the edge.
PK, though, trying to go for that 1v1 down in the bot lane, and he is, of course, pretty far ahead of Bush at this point, even going to have that Destiny popped by Mission, as he's looking for a play actually toward the top side of the map, but decides not to pull the trigger on Chen 9, so the solo kill going in favor of PK and bot.
Yeah, you have Tiamat to Tiamat in both inventories, difference being one of these top laners has a Triforce already completed. Bush getting bullied, this early game investment from Machi towards getting PK ahead has paid off with his first solo kill. And yet Alpha, as soon as they see Machi's strongest member on the bottom half of the map, immediately pull the trigger on an objective on the opposite side.
So it's always a trade coming out from Alpha. Not trying to fall behind. They realize, hey, if Bush is going to be dragging all this attention, let's try and make things happen elsewhere, as that is now going to be their second Rift Herald taken. And maybe could try and burst open possibly a second-tier tower here after an explosive fight. Still, though, 3 minutes onto that Soul Point, that's when we're going to see probably the next big outing between both of these squads.
Yeah, suffering from success a little bit are Alpha here, though, because once you've taken all of the objectives on the board, once you've taken all of the tier 1s, suddenly the only real thing to look for is either a pick into a tier 2 or a hard commit for a tier 2. And because they are faced with a little bit of a rough decision for the next couple of minutes, there's no real clear game plan as to what to do. Okay, that would have been something to do. Because there's no real clear way forward here, it does mean there's just a couple of minutes for Machi to scale up.
And for PK, that's going to be him just then farming away in the side lane, trying to get some pressure, trying to force again Bush to, at this point, just have to soak up as much pressure as he can, as you do see that just the goal difference between the two players is almost 4,000.
Yeah, that is a huge swing in favor of Alpha, issue being that a lot of Machi's gold is on this Camille. So you have PK just consistently threatening to kill Bush, who, by the way, has, like, support level gold at this point from how heavily he was shut out of the early game. But as we said, he's just the glorified Orianna ball delivery system. He's backline access with a quick EQ, and a knock-up to really hammer home that the carries of Machi wouldn't be able to flash out of it immediately.
Well, there you go. You also now have your Hydra completed by PK, as he is just going to chunk Bush every opportunity he gets. I'm afraid to see what's about to happen to this poor monkey. Smart enough from Bush, he is going to go ahead and back off. This is going to be 90 seconds now until Alpha can try and look to set up for this Mountain Soul. The one positive here of putting PK on the bot side of the map does allow Machi to get some priority and can maintain a little bit of control on the bot side of the map.
There's a joke in here about, you know, that picture of the two monkeys fighting in the circle, the animated one, that people always put the team faces over the team logos over the faces.
All right, who you
can do that with the Wukong in the Camille cage. That's, yeah, and everyone else is just watching as the top laners duke it out.
Except it's like one monkey getting absolutely slaughtered every single matchup.
True enough. Yeah.
Usually
because of the interference.
Oh, the interfere. Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
But then you could say on the other side of the map, Alpha brought their own cage in the form of the Thresh box and just kind of just smacked away at this bot lane nonstop. Here we go, though. Shockwave gonna land. Koala able to buffer away with, again, the hook. Gets his knock-up available into the Volley Bear ultimate. Your Son Descent's coming on over PK. Able to join in onto the fight, but not able to land onto his main target. Machi now looking a little bit concerned themselves. Mission has to get himself back to safety. Gets the gold card with the cleanse, but Wei Lun hunting underneath the tower. Oh. And there you go. It's a double kill for Bush. He's back online. Chen 9 gets taken out, but PK, the rest of your team has fallen, but Bruce actually able to trade it back, and it's going to be a 3-for-3.
Yeah, a little bit of an overcommitment coming through from the Alpha bot side there. However, They did well to try and fish for a pick early. As we said, they need to be proactive, and proactive they were. Unfortunately, it was to their detriment. Look at this huge commitment. Trundle R, Orianna R, positioning seeded across the board just to attempt to knock down a Nautilus. You see Camille rotating, TF rotating, and suddenly Machi's pincer maneuver shuts out Alpha. Bush turns this amazingly, but look at Waylon, look at Yersan.
Yeah, Waylon, though, getting a little bit too aggressive. Again, really trying to hammer home that they wanted to kill that poor Nautilus. And Yersan, tower's still there, bud. As PK has always been down in the spot lane, protecting that out. But you did see on the picture-in-picture, Machi able to stall out Mountain Soul for another 5 minutes as they're able to secure the dragon.
Yeah, honestly, a little bit of greed coming through from Alpha there. I think they could have just, you know, popped their Herald mid and then rotated for Drake a little bit later. No need to hard force a pick onto the Nautilus. You can just get free mid priority thanks to having the Herald in inventory, and then just secure the Soul into an easy win. But they're fishing for picks again.
Looking to hunt through the jungle, but not going to connect on anything, as, again, Machi very quick to say, all right, we're going to go ahead and back off. That's kind of the big thing here for Machi, is you need PK to be joining in on these fights. Does have teleport available, as there you go. Alpha are the ones to start off the Baron. We do see Mission over toward the side. Wards are being laid down by Machi. There is options for PK to join in onto the fight. There's your call. Death sentence, though, going to land immediately onto Gemini. He gets taken on down. It's just absolute chaos into the backline. PK goes. He gets knocked up. He gets shut down. And Shen9 is able to find the kill. Another death sentence connects from your side. And Alpha continue to the Baron.
Alpha back on the Baron here after cleaning up the Machi frontline. Nautilus down, Camille down, Volibear down, and what are TF and Aphelios gonna do? What to take that big objective. Good communication to actually peel off of this to fight the skirmish, because Alpha, they have Kalista. They could have stayed on the Baron, but it would have been a throw if they were plumped in the Aphelios ult and let time, you know, get bought. No way should Aphelios with Flash ever get tagged with that shockwave. Ever, ever, ever. And Bruce is kicking himself for the fact that fight went in favor of Alpha.
And unfortunately there, PK, even though he did have what we mentioned, like a 3,000 gold lead over his lane opponent, he can't do it all on his own, unfortunately, as he did get onto the backline, but enough CC was saved by Alpha. Keeps Waylon safe, keeps Shen9 and the rest of the squad going. And there you go, Alpha now with Baron and a 3,000 gold lead and looking to set up for now that Mountain Soul once again in 2.5 minutes, as long as they don't make any mistakes.
And the single positive outcome of that play for Machi was the fact that we have the Baron buff expiring about 30 seconds before Mountain. Ideally, Alpha can't deal too much damage to the Machi structures by the time that does fall off, but if Alpha are smart, if Alpha sync the minion waves, if they push out into each of these lanes, they could either crack an inhib or at least secure enough priority that it's a quick peel off of the waves into a Dragon Soul secure. And that's why you see Mission in the top lane.
Mission is going for a bit of a little bit of a jaunt. And this is something we have seen Mission do before, where he says, you know what, my team has failed, or something along those lines, and he just kind of lets them go to their own devices. He's going to get one tower, but the team's going to lose 2 inhibitor towers as well as 2 inhibs.
Potentially 2 inhibs, yeah. The bot lane being secured already. Do have to be a little bit careful, because if you stack up like this, you're going to get wombo comboed. Mission still on his one-man mission up in that top lane.
PK looking for a flank possibly. That is going to be the recall coming through for Bush, but you do see Alpha instantly try and peel off, and I'll be frank, even without having to set up the waves all, you know, nice and... Oh, Shen9!
Oh, no.
The sombrero, the question is, did they see it take place? Is the question here.
It's not quite the game ender like we saw yesterday with the fumbled Orianna shockwave to nearly turn a team fight in favor of, I believe, Liab, but still not a great look for Chen9. That would have been a nice pick to find and would have really secured the vision around this Mountain Drake area. However, Alpha pretty happy with how that turned out. Got 2 inhibs, didn't lose top, and as well as that, now can take a free reset into a good staked claim for this Mountain Soul.
And GA also picked up here from Wei Lun, gives him an extra life during some of these team fights. And again, more item pickups, and Alpha are online and ready to go, considering the fact the majority of your gold for Machi is onto this one carry in the form of PK. He doesn't necessarily want to go for these team fights. He wanted to be split pushing away in a side lane, doing what Mission was doing, if anything. And now Alpha, they're just going to set up the trap. They just say, hey, come on over. We have all this, you know, free candy. Come on over to my Dragon Pit, see what's going to happen. They want to go ahead and get on top of Bush. Bush, though, gets up at safety. And PK, he ends up ulting the clone. And that can be disaster here for the fight. As PK may have all this gold. Unfortunately, he's got nowhere to run. Chen9 is going to secure the kill.
Yeah, PK goes bananas, tearing out his hair in frustration after ulting a Wukong clone. Beautiful navigation by Bush. TFR came to gank him, Camille came to gank him, and yet he gets out. And because they get that mini teamfight victory, it is Alpha that can then transition into an easy Mountain Soul secure here, pushing down the bot, which has the exposed Nexus towers, mid as well. Alpha could close here.
And for Machi, it'd be one hell of a comeback now as in comes your engage to your son, ends up just hooking in the minions, saying you are going to be death sentence. But Bruce, let's see, 200 years, is this online? Is it going to be enough from this Aphelios to carry back a fight? In goes Gemini into the back line. Knockup going to land on Wei Lun, but he's still very fine himself. Decent damage coming up from the Aphelios, but it's not going to be enough. Engage once more. Bruce trying to do what he can, and those health bars are starting to go down a little bit low on the side of Alpha. Engage comes back once more from Koala. Bruce needs to step up. He has to keep on fighting. He's the last hope for this Machi squad. Bruce gets caught out, gets dead sentence, and he gets written off by Alpha as they're able to find the upset, finding the double kill for Wei Lun, and just like that, taking away chances for Machi to secure a playoff bye.
1-0-15 on World 6's Trundle there, by the way. That is not what you sign up for with your River. That is a supportive jungler through and through. And it's just complete acknowledgement of the fact that the rest of the team will step up if you give them a springboard to leap off of.
Yeah, I'm actually in shock here. How Machi actually kind of fell apart during this game. It really felt like that they themselves lacked clear guidance on what exactly they wanted to do. It felt like the PK show, and it was kind of exciting. We're like, hey, PK, he's going to get all these resources put into him onto this Camille. But unfortunately, the Camille's here in the PCS. When they get all these resources, we still see teams fail to play around her onto that win condition.
Yeah, the issue is when you play such a 1-3-1 centric comp against an aggressive 5v5 with ample hard engage, you just get rolled over. And Alpha, they did something that a lot of top teams actually struggle with. In order to force the Camille to come, they just start up a neutral objective. To make the split push comp stop split pushing, you need to pull them to you, and what better way to do that than to threaten a 20-minute Baron?
And with that, that's a massive upset coming out here from Alpha on the heels of a great performance, especially from this bot lane alongside Chen9 as well. Sure, Bush, he was kind of, you know, smacked around and bullied in that top lane, but doesn't matter. Like you mentioned, was there for the knockups, was there for the interrupts, and we couldn't see that Aphelios come online for Bruce to try and save this one here for Machi.
Kind of sad that I doubted Alpha there, honestly. Because, yeah, my prediction was for Machi, of course. I think everybody's prediction was for Machi, of course. But, yeah, miracles do happen. Really, really clean execution with the Wukong Orianna Deathball comp. They got the Callista ahead. And actually, credit to Bush on this Wukong, putting out the most damage despite being shut down almost exclusively through Machi's efforts in the early game.
Yeah, he was dived a lot, so he was able to skirmish quite a bit, but MVP, gonna go on over to your son, actually, here on the Thresh. Actually had some rather good death sentences. We will ignore the Fate's Call combo we saw on that last push, but nonetheless, still a very good game coming out from him.
Yeah, very, very well executed on the Thresh. A lot of that lead and a lot of the coordinated dives bot lane were through these hooks landing. And honestly, yeah, the vision control around neutral objectives was great. It forced TPs, it forced face checks. Yeah, solid support play.
Yeah, so very nicely done there by Alpha. Again, they themselves will now get them, again, boosted up to a 7-7 record. And, of course, we're going to go ahead and get a quick-on interview with Bush, who got cyberbullied, but he gets to speak his mind with Patty.
观众朋友们打声招呼吧。
大家好，我是阿法上路 Bush。
好，那 Bush 你好，很高兴，就是先恭喜你今天赢下了这场比赛。那我们这边有几个问题想要问你哦，就是这场比赛呢，就是你们的，等一下，不好意思哦。你们这场针对 Machi 的下路做了非常多次的进攻，有非常好的成效，但是你自己呢也是被对方针对的很惨哦，就是当时就没有想要说，就是呼叫队友来支援你吗？
So congratulations on the win. First of all, you guys did really well facing against Machi Esports on the bot lane. So your whole team focused on pushing the bot lane, but also on the top lane you got dived a couple of times. Have you ever thought about calling your jungler over to help you?
我死第一波之后，有叫大爷来帮我一下，但他们觉得往下面打就是对面打上，我们打下，这样交换会比较好。
So after I died the first time, I did ask my jungler to come over to help me, but my other teammates thought it would be better if we just push the bottom lane. So that's their decision, so I would respect that decision.
哇，那感觉前期也是打得很委屈。不过我觉得最后看到这个结算面板，也算是让 Bush 扬眉吐气了。
那像第二题的话，就是想要问一下，就是你们在本赛季是第一次对上前端班的队伍拿到胜利，那队伍之间的沟通是有越来越好的趋势吗？还是你们已经找到了最适合你们去赢的阵容跟获胜方式？
So it is the first time you guys met with the top team and won. And is your communications getting better, or did you find a better way of making team compositions? Can you tell us how you're going within your practices?
这礼拜团练状况都还不错，蛮不错的。然后也有几套的阵容，主要是也变多了，然后沟通也变得越来越好，把不好的地方修正掉。
So our scrims were pretty well in this week, and we have a couple of team compositions prepared, and we have also more champions that we can use. So I think we're gonna get better and better.
那在最后一个问题的话，就是你们在赢下这场比赛之后呢，胜率已经来到7胜7败的50%。那你们应该是确定会进入季后赛了。有没有最害怕遇到哪一支队伍，而为什么呢？
So as of now, you guys have a 50% win rate, and it's pretty sure that you guys are going to make it to playoffs. So which team do you most want to avoid in the playoffs, and why?
最不想遇到这一题吧，因为可能会变一个 BN 大赛这样。
I think the team that we don't want to face the most is Taipei J team because it's probably gonna become an emoji war.
哇，那看来的话 ，J Team 的这个 Rest 也算是相当的恶名远播了。那我们也是非常感谢 Bush 来接受我们的采访，恭喜你们赢下这场比赛。哇，那我们也可以从他们刚刚的访问感受到。
Thank you. Local commentators over down there. You see, he knew the sacrifice was worth it, Abuz, all right? He called the jungle and the team said, okay, I guess he didn't know it. The team that said, no, it's fine. You can feed in top lane. We'll just take the rest of the map.
Yep, well, that's one way to do it when your top laner is your weak side lane.
Yeah.
Good effort by Machi to hold down Bush, but you can't keep a good Wukong down.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, though, it is our match of the week. Taipei J Team taking on PSG Talon. We'll be right back.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.